How is everyone doing? Spring has sprung over here, so it's nice. We're getting nice cool days and warm days as well. So it's your bedtime, can't it? I will make it good for you, my friend. I'll make it sure that we'll get straight to the point. G'day, g'day, Pacific. How about you, bro? We're gonna get started in just a second. I've had the chance to look at some charts this morning, so that was good. And oh, there you go, same Pacific. I was just looking at some charts this morning, so I wanted to share something with you guys. How I am looking at the market. I reckon we just started. I reckon we get cracking. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, depending on when you're tuning in. So if you're here with me live and all these lovely pips in the chat, thank you for joining. Of course, staying up or getting up. Thank you. Always appreciate you. And if you're watching the recording, make sure that you leave a comment down below. Straight into the source, shall we? BTC. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So I was having a chat with one of my students last night, and we were kind of looking at structure and all these things. So it's really quite clear to me now, the more I look at it and the more I see it, that we are going to see some bearish pressure. Quite for a bit, actually. And the reason why I say that is I'm on a daily chart, and we're going to go straight into the source. So if there's any questions in the chat, please feel free to share, type away. But as you've probably seen these charts before, BTC loves to pull back roughly about 20% from the local highs to the bottom. Sometimes as high as 35, 33%. Sometimes as low as 12, but the average is roughly 25%. So with that in mind, we just printed a high, of course, back in August last month, and we've only retraced 13%. Now, this is not really something that, in my opinion, is enough to send us higher. I do want to see a deeper retracement, because you got to think of the market as a slingshot. The more you pull it back, the further it goes. So we need retracements. And this kind of retracement we just had is simply not enough. It did, however, print some clear, once you look at them, lower lows. So this was a higher high, and this is a lower, oops, and this is a lower high. So we've gone from making higher lows and higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher high again. Then here we broke structure. Okay, so that was last week, roughly, or a couple of weeks ago, we broke structure. And this was the real deciding moment. What we'll likely see now is going to be a continuation on the downside, in my opinion. Immediate target is going to be on the weekly, quite clear. Let me just clear up the chart a little bit, because I was literally doing it this morning. So now that we've seen the retracement, I can delete those. That is my get rid of that. Cool. This weekly candle right here is what I'm looking for as an immediate point to come back into. Okay, we could potentially come back into this imbalance as well, so come back as low as 88. Wouldn't surprise me if you take, once again, the retracement. So this is a 20% retracement, so nothing new for BTC, does it all the time. 20% sends us back sub 100. If it was to do a deeper retracement, which, as we've seen, it can also very much do, it will send us back into this level, which I also like to see. So that 30% will send us back into that imbalance. Totally doable, in my opinion. Obviously, we have seasonality, which is kind of playing against us at the moment, in the sense that we are likely going to see some bearish price action due to seasonality alone. But the chart as well, so that's confluence, is telling us we will likely see some bearish price action. I did discuss a little while back, I don't know if you guys remember, when you see this kind of candles, at the top of the range, so making an all-time high, really big wick, really small body, that obviously signals bearish pressure. And when you see the candle right next to it, or not right next to it, but just to the right of it, this buy to sell move was definitely an institutional candle. So unfortunately, we didn't quite get up there. This would have been a beautiful short. If you did get that short still open, you'll be printing. Personally, I closed it, but this was basically two signs already of a local top, right? So where are we at now? Well, on the daily, we just basically just charted that we have broken structure. It is quite clear. This was the breaker structure right there, and now we just printed, in my opinion, on Thursday last week, the new lower high, right? So the next logical move will be to look for shorts, and this morning I took shorts which wasn't the prettiest, so I didn't actually call it out because it could get invalidated, but I'm gonna run you through it. So far so good in the chat. Let me know if you're following along, if you understand why I'm bearish overall. Do you understand? Let me know in the chat. Yes, no. Yes, cool. Awesome. So we've got a bearish bias on the daily. I'm going to scale down into 4 hour and 1 hour and see where we're at. So on the 4 hour, what we did, I guess overnight, 4 hours Aussies, was come back into this imbalance from here to here, and we filled it beautifully. And that is good. That means that the imbalance has been filled. So the next step was to look for an entry, since it was 2 a.m. when that happened for me here. I wasn't up. And I basically entered at current market price. So given the imbalance was filled thanks to this 4 hour and 1 hour candle, I enter current market price here. Given also that 15 minutes started to break down and make lower lows. So this on the 15 minutes was the breaker structure that had me going, yep, I'm okay to enter. So I am currently in a short in BTC. And you can probably see I've got an extremely tight stop loss, and that's on purpose because we could potentially come back deeper into this retracement. And coming, let me go back into the 4 hour so you can see a little bit better. We could potentially come back a little bit deeper into this area. So this area, which we previously had here, so we could potentially come back into a little bit deeper into this second imbalance at the top. But I am okay in taking the first step from here, and the TPE is going to look a little bit crazy. So I have got a TP at the moment at 103.417. So this setup, if it does go to plan, it's a 1 to almost 14. And the reason why I've got a TP down there is you can probably see back onto the weekly. Let me clear it and let me clear it. That is the candle that we just looked at, right? We just looked at it just before when we were forming the bias, when we were running through the bias. So that's the candle, and the TP is down here. And not only that, on a daily, that same area left behind this gorgeous fair value gap, ready to be mitigated. So this will be an area that I'll potentially start looking at longs again. But before taking any longs, I'm not necessarily going to press buy. Like, this is definitely a candle that would be a beautiful buy to go from, but I will want to see price slow down first and then reversing, because like we said earlier, there is a possibility that we don't just stop at a 20% retracement. We could go down all the way to a 30% retracement back into the 80s. So yeah, Bitcoin currently active on a short, super tight stop loss, and you will have a chance, in my opinion, to re-enter. That's why I wasn't too stressed about it. I'm not calling it for you guys, but looks like you can probably pretty much almost enter now if you wanted to take this exact same setup. I was going to say this 15-minute candle would have been a good one, but it's just starting to move again. So I'll give you guys maybe 5 minutes. Yeah, you can probably enter now. So if you do an entry now, current market price, and you do a stop loss at where I've got it 114,062. This still gives you a, let's have a look. This still gives you a current market price 128. So if you enter right this second, which is not bad. With it 114 area be your stop loss. Yes, 114,062 is my stop loss, just above this highs basically. And I'm keeping it tight on purpose because I can see the potential of going a little bit higher again. So if you want to take this trade, this is an active BTC short from current market price. So yes, I am bearish, which also leads me to talk about what should we do in the next coming weeks. Now, I'm not looking at any longs, of course. If Bitcoin goes down, as we know, alts are going to so what was that? I need to go past your, what is that, 1 day daily? I'll get back to onto that. If Bitcoin goes down, as we know, alts are going to bleed. It just the way it goes. Not all alts, of course, but the vast majority will. So I'm not really looking at stacking anymore. In fact, I am borderline inclined to take a little bit of profits now, because if we break, for example, on ETH, which I think we will, this structure, and let me bring it out on the daily, and I'll mark it up for you guys so you can see how close we are from it. So obviously we had high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, lower high. Breaker structure can be either this or this, and if you keep the first one as a breaker structure, that's already happened. And if you kept this low as your structure, I think it's about to happen. This daily candle where we are right now has got 21 hours to go, and I do have a feeling that we will likely close the previous structure, which is 4103. So with ETH breaking down and probably Bitcoin going lower, we will see all market going down, which is a good thing to see or foresee, because that means that we have potentially, you know, a few weeks of stacking capital, right, and ready to deploy again once we get to these lows. I don't think this is the end of the bull market by all means. I do think this is just a correction for BTC to come back, fill some of these needed imbalances, and then potentially retest the high again. But I think I've shared with you guys a few times, I will definitely scale out almost everything at 130, 135 for BTC. So I don't think we're going to get much higher for this cycle personally. We will see a 200, 250,000 Bitcoin probably in the next few years, no problem, but just not on this cycle, in my opinion. So I'm not buying. That's the gist of it. The short version is I'm not buying any alts at the moment, but I am shorting. I'm shorting on leverage, and if you are up in some positions on alts, I strongly recommend take some profit now. Sure, you might have missed a bigger top, but I'll rather take some profit here and not having to withstand another 20, 30%, 40%, or 50% in some alts drawdown, if it makes sense. So take some profit. You remember we talked about it last week and the week before. Start taking profit. Start taking profit. It's really time to take profit, because I think we are going to see some more downside pressure. I can't tell how long it's going to last. We'll probably see the whole month of October. I would think something like back into at least mid-October, and then a continuation higher. But yeah, guessing times is not something I like to do personally. Solana, well, Solana was a amazing trade in the sense that we called the absolute entry. Obviously we called the long and the short, and we did say last week, yeah, it was last week, we were looking at this setup. We said we are going to see, and I was going to exit this short because we're likely going to see a $200 Solana again, and we are 210, so very, very, very close. We have broken that liquidity trend, which we've been talking about for a few weeks, as expected. I'd love to see Sol just under 200 personally. I mean, what is this one? 183 will be an absolute gift I love that. I don't know if we're going to get that low, but Sol is just basically following the rest of the market, really. So not too much time to spend on there, aside from the fact that, yeah, if you took these 2 trades, you'll be very happy. You probably could flip the account just with those 2 trades, if you took them nice, with nice entries. Now XRP, we also had that short, which we talked about last week. He actually ended up going full TP on Monday, so could probably delete that now. So no need to have that. And if you did take it, share the wins in the wins chat. So show us that P&L card. We'd love to see that. We called this last week, literally with the coordinates, and this was a 4-hour candle which we looked at. Was this 4-hour candle? We said this was going to be the entry, and literally, what was that, 12 hours after it got tapped, and just a couple of days later, full TP. So where are we at now with XRP? XRP is going to likely do the same as everything else. You can probably see this liquidity line already, which I'm going to draw for you guys. There's money, there's liquidity everywhere really on XRP. So I'd love to see something like this, touch the 618, potentially even the 786 fib, come back into the low $2, so 2.1 to 2.3, to then recharge and go back up. But I'm definitely not going to press short now. Short on XRP, we already caught it, was up here, so I'm not going to play that again. The only short which I'm happy to play at the moment is BTC. I did have one on ETH as well, set up, but unfortunately we never got up there. So ETH was doing this kind of obviously consolidation or accumulation or distribution. Actually, this is distribution. This is money basically just up here, money down here, already grab downside liquidity. So I was expecting ETH to come and grab upside liquidity before moving down, but it just melted. So as you can see, it's going to want to go lower. I did, however, leave this limit set just in case we do wick really quickly up there. So I've got a limit just above this equal highs up here. On the Coinbase feed, the price is 4233. So that is my short with a tight stop loss again at the start of this imbalance at 4266, just in case we'll wick, which is totally possible in this market. So I've got one active short and one set up for a limit potentially. And that's pretty much it in terms of the market. But really, really important, I guess, the take-home message here is don't go crazy in these pullbacks just yet. I think the downside pressure is really not quite finished. I could be wrong. But it would just be weird for Bitcoin to do a 13% pullback when you can see all the previous pullback. This was a 32%. This was a 33%, and so forth. This was a 20%. This was a 21%, 20%, 22%. So yeah, it will be very strange. I think this is just what, without, sometimes we look into things a little bit too hard, especially when it comes to charts. We overanalyze. Some people, I used to do that all the time, overanalyze. But if you actually just stick to a very simple structure, you go high, low, high, low. This was the breaker structure right here. So we have now officially starting probably the bearish price action. Cool. What can I see your ETH limit again? Yes, depending on your price feed, they're all a little bit different. But for me, I basically put it above this equal highs. This was the Coinbase feed. So in my chart is 4233. But just draw a line from this equal highs and basically take a short from there with a stop loss at the beginning of this last candle that pushes down, comes back up. So this imbalance right here. That is my my ETH short. Now, crypto is kind of sad at the moment, right? We're going down. Yes, we've got some nice short that we can take, but it's really nothing exciting in terms of portfolio. What is exciting in terms of portfolio is the stock plays that we've been taking. And let me know in the chat if you've taken any of these stock plays, because we have been killing it. Backed holdings. Talked about it last week. I said I brought a post in the Aussie channel. Infrastructure is already existing. They're really pushing overseas. They've got all the right partnership. I said I'm entering at 970 literally last week, Monday, and today we are, what is that, 100% move? Yeah, 106% move. Did you take it, guys? I hope you did. I hope you're taking this stock plays, because this is the importance of diversifying a portfolio and looking at things at the right time. Right now, Bitcoin, crypto is underperforming. Bitcoin hasn't really given us the return that we wanted in the last 6 months, but stocks are absolutely booming. So it makes no sense to flog a dead horse. We have capital, allocate it into some stock when they're going up. When they start to retrace, there's a really strong chance crypto is going to go up again. As a whole, we can then go back into I love crypto, and same thing with indices and all this. So we need to be able to flow with where the money is flowing. Okay, money is just energy. It flows in and out of hands and also in different markets. Right now, money is in stocks. UNH keeps going up nicely. We grabbed absolute bottom, so nothing there. Rivian, if you took the option a few weeks back, this option at the moment is about 300% for me. And if you don't know what an option is, it doesn't just go by price. You need to go option. It's price and time, so it costs a lot more to buy an option, but a 32% move gives you, in this case was a few months, a couple of months timeline. So this is where the option expires. So small move, but pays really well. Cracker Barrel, I am going to enter. I've got a setup limit order at $43, which will likely get hit probably today or tomorrow US time. I'm happy to initiate a position. This is not an option. This is a stock portfolio play. I do like on the weekly the fact that we have, and let me just delete that, we are starting to reverse at the exact same level. So you can probably see here on the weekly we slowed down. We have gone below the previous low, but we haven't actually closed below. So we actually closed at equal lows, meaning there's obviously potentially a shift in structure. And if we look at the highs and the lows, we go from lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, equal low, and then we've got a higher high now. So this is potentially the beginning of a breakout structure, hence why I am entering now. Didn't want to enter here because this could have easily got lower, and there's a chance that we might even see lower, and I'll show you why on the monthly. There is this is that monthly 12 months, I think it's on 12 months, yes, on the yearly. And stocks, yes, you do look at yearly candles, okay? It's not something that you necessarily do for crypto, but in stocks you do. So this yearly candle, which was the last push down before the up, hasn't been traded in just yet. If we do decide to trade in there, it's 32 all the way down to 20. So there's still possible downside for Cracker Barrel, but I'm definitely happy to initiate a position here at this level. Risking a little bit, not too much. But betting basically that we are now going to reverse higher, and who knows, we might actually come back to 125. This will be a nice 3x before we continue lower. Yearly candles take years, of course, to get filled. That doesn't mean that it's going to get filled now, but I am definitely happy to initiate a position here on Cracker Barrel, especially with all the FUD that they received, which is often what you want to buy. You want to buy fear. You don't want to buy excitement. Lululemon was another one. We just called it the other day. This is still in entry zone, so if you missed it, you can probably still enter now. It's starting to move a little bit. You can see But once again, I wouldn't say full port this one. If we go all the way down here, this is on a weekly high to low. We could potentially see some lower price action trading back into COVID candle. So this was the COVID candle, which we did tap into, but we didn't necessarily feel weak and everything. So green box for me is the DCA zone. So anywhere between 125 all the way to where we are now, which is 179. It's DCA zone for Lululemon. So Lulu is the ticker. Few other holdings that I'm looking at. I'd love to see a better home and finance. Obviously, this went on an absolute tear in just a few days. I'm going to be waiting for a pullback here. This chart is really pretty ugly, to be honest, and I'll show you on a weekly what I mean. So this is on a weekly. This chart is ugly. So this is where it was back in 2023, and now is obviously trading at a fraction of that. But if we could potentially come back into some of this candle, which big push up before the push down, so that will be still a nice solid return. So this is the candle that I'll be interested in potentially come back and retest, which will be almost a 10x from current market price. So at the very bottom of that candle will be, it's over 10x. So not bad. I'm not gonna go and FOMO in now because this is not the kind of a price action that we want to see. But we will love probably if we come back halfway into this, mid 40s to low 40s, will be a nice area for us to call it out. I'll call it out once if we get down there. So basically, from here to here will be my DCA zone, 53 to 44. Right? So that's a one to keep on your watch list. Another one that I'll be looking at, but not quite there yet, is Gemini. This is obviously the crypto exchange. They are now a publicly traded company. They IPO recently. They came out on the 12th of September, as often the case. Oh, awesome. Yeah, nice. In September, they came out with Gemini. This often happens with IPOs. Most recently, we saw this same price action with Bullish, which was also an IPO, and with Figma, which was also an IPO. Big push up. All the early investors obviously take profit, and we continue lower. So, I know what Helic is because I looked into Better quite a bit, so I know what problem they're solving and everything they do. So even though I am not obviously American or a US citizen, I've been reading into it. What platform do I use to trade stocks? Personally, I use Webull, or even better, I use sometimes eToro, depending on the stock. But Webull is what I usually usually use. So yeah, Better is going to be called out, not just yet. Don't go and FOMO into this one. And the last one, which I hope you guys took, I really do, was Plug. So Plug, obviously, we said as soon as it breaks this this trend line, I'm gonna enter a position. So we actually called it out, and it was a 2.5x. Not bad. 125 in just 125%. So that was it in terms of potential entries. So any questions, guys? Yeah, Webull. I'll share the link for you. I'll share the link. All good. Easy. All right, team. If you do have any question, obviously feel free to ping me in the chat or ping me on the channel. Happy to go over any chart that you want to request. EWT T-bone at the moment is it's consolidating, so everything's gonna go down. I'm foreseeing lower price action across the board, EWT included. So personally, I was up on EWT a bit. I took a little bit of profit, but I might consider actually closing the position altogether because we might be able to re-enter at a cheaper. And in terms of FOMC and the Orangeman for the rest of this month, look, I think another 0.25 will likely be on the card for FOMC this month, which of course will send dollar lower. But yeah, we'll see. 0.25 I think is going to be probably the most likely outcome there. Can you post or send a screenshot of your ETH setup? I'll put it on the channel, Wavy. No dramas, easy. I'll put them all in the channel. Thanks, team. Thank you for tuning in live, and as always, I'll post the recording onto the YouTube channel for anyone if you want to go back and watch the stream again. But other than that, have a great rest of your week and catch you next week.